Hello, Saline. This is Talk of the Town, Saline High School's official podcast. I'm your host, Evan Aeschliman, here with the president of IHA Health, Ms. Cindy Elliott. Today we are discussing the healthcare industry and an upcoming health sciences and IHA partnership. Now let's talk local. All right, thank you for joining the podcast today. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, diving into your background a little bit, you're a proud graduate of Milan High School and participated with the SWC Health Sciences program. What experiences through Milan High School and the SWWC have influenced your career path?
Really, Evan, they actually helped confirm what I thought I knew I wanted to do with my life, and that is be a nurse, work in healthcare. From the time when I was about fourth grade, I just really felt like a calling, actually, from God to actually serve as a healthcare professional, but I wasn't exactly sure in what way. So the program helped me gain clarity, provided me the practical experience, and a whole lot of support from the team that was serving in leadership at that time, with getting me an internship at a local physician office, and then from there helped me get into the BSN program at Eastern Michigan.
Gotcha. That's great. So then what was your post-secondary plan as you graduated from Milan High School?
So I really had two options at that time. I would have been a first-generation graduate from college, and so through scholarships, working a couple of jobs, and just with the help of my parents, was able to attend Eastern Michigan as a commuter student, in addition to thinking about if I wasn't going to go to college, I could certainly come out of the program and work as a certified nursing assistant.
Gotcha. So then you mentioned in fourth grade you kind of felt your calling to the healthcare industry. Was there a driving force kind of behind your decision to join the healthcare field? Or was it?
There was really. So in our family, we were multi-generational in that we had grandparents who spent a lot of time in our home, and actually for a period of time actually had a grandparent living with us. And it was really during that time that I realized that I really enjoyed helping and serving, especially my grandparents.
Gotcha. And then kind of switching into the way things are now, how's your profession changed through the last couple of years?
Oh, my word. Well, with the pandemic, really, it turned us upside down. Yeah. There's been some learnings that I think are really helpful and good, and I think one of those areas would be video visits.
Sure.
So at a time when folks were afraid to seek health care or were unable to get to their doctor for some reason, we actually were able to stand up video visits in a pretty quick time.
Sure.
And continue to serve patients. But other than that, I would just say that we learned just how vulnerable we are and how unready and unprepared we really were.
Sure. Yeah. So then kind of coming from that, how did you get started with IHA?
So I've been with IHA, it'll be 23 years this March. I started as Director of Clinical Improvement. I was actually a department of one person at that time.
Sure.
IHA was much smaller at that time. And really felt when I started there that I was serving along people, mostly the physicians who serve there, people who deeply care about the patients that they were serving, and that just resonated with me as a person. So fast forward 23 years later, and just a few months ago was promoted to president.
Sure. So then how did you progress into your current position, and what were some of the major milestones along your way?
So I started in that Director of Clinical Improvement. That's more of a clinical position. Shortly after I started IHA, one of the vice presidents of operations left, and I was asked would I be willing to help. And I would think that one of my life lessons, Evan, would be that when folks ask you to help, be a little more open or willing to do that. I learned a ton by saying yes, but what it actually did for me is give me exposure to other areas that I otherwise wouldn't have had as a clinician, so the business side of healthcare. And so through the mentorship and through continuing my education in business, I was able to advance in the position that I now hold.
Sure. And then to maybe the unfamiliar visitor, could you tell us about IHA Health a little bit more?
Sure. IHA is a multi-specialty group practice. There are about 1,000 providers, so physicians, advanced practice professionals. We have about 130 practice locations across southeastern Michigan, and we've got about 50 different specialties that make up IHA.
Sure. So you're in a main priority position in IHA. What are some of your main priorities as the president of IHA?
First and foremost, I want to take really good care of the people who serve at IHA. The second priority I have is to make sure that we take really good care of the people who entrust us for their health care.
Sure.
The third goal I have is to continue to grow in really innovative and new ways. And the fourth thing is to really think about how do we give back to the community.
Sure. So we mentioned COVID a little bit. How has the healthcare industry changed over the past decade?
It's a great question. I would say we're a little bit slow to change in healthcare, if I'm being honest.
Sure.
There are other industries that are far more advanced. But there is a lot going on in the space of genetics, artificial intelligence. We're getting a little smarter, I think, in the way in which we treat patients, very specific to your own DNA and makeup. And so I'm excited about some of the potential discoveries through research that I think will be in practice very soon.
Sure. All right. So kind of shifting into jobs with the way the economy is right now and job openings, what are some roles at IHA that are in high demand and will continue to grow into the future?
Yeah, I love this question, Evan, because I think so many folks think that healthcare means nursing or doctor or something like that, right? But actually, we have a whole host of other departments that support what we do from a clinical perspective. So if you think about IT, finance, human resources, and quality, just to name a few, all of those departments are in significant need of folks to serve. There's also a whole area in the billing, accounts payable kind of area as well. And so what I like to make sure folks understand is that if you don't like the blood and guts, you don't want to have to actually deal with people necessarily.
Sure.
There's all sorts of other opportunities.
Gotcha. And then building off of that, how can the SWWC and IHA partner to fill employment vacancies and at the same time help students prepare for work in healthcare?
Yeah, I'm so excited about this partnership. When I think about what this program afforded me in the way of practical, on-site, hands-on experience while I was in the program, it really laid the foundation for me to be successful in both my nursing program as well as, throughout my career. So really what we want to do is we want to emulate that. We want to be able to have folks, reach out to us. We want to make sure we understand what are your career goals, what are your personal goals, what would you like to accomplish, and then, given the breadth of services that we provide across IHA with our many, many different locations that are many of times close to home or close to schools, how do we partner with you to give you some experiences? By the way, these are paid experiences as well, so that helps, right? If you don't like the first thing you try, that's okay.
Yeah.
We want to actually have an ongoing conversation with folks and try to steer you to maybe something that is a better fit.
Awesome. So, you've kind of built into the next question with your previous answer, but what is your vision and desired outcomes for the partnership between IHA Health and the SWWC Health Sciences Program?
I'm hoping that we can partner in a way where we don't just impact someone for today, but we're actually able to help them sort of impact their tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Right? And if we're successful in doing that for, just a few folks, I think for lots of reasons, word of mouth, it'll grow. And, my goal is that we've got so much demand that we have to sort of think about how do we broaden our capacity.
Awesome. Well, I think we hit a lot of important points today, and we discussed some interesting opportunities for some of our health sciences students. So thank you for joining us today. Check out Talk of the Town, other episodes when they are published on the Celine Video YouTube channel. I'm Evan Aeschliman.
I'm Cindy Elliott.
We'll talk to you again soon.
This episode of Talk of the Town was brought to you by Celine Video, with special thanks to our guest Cindy Elliott and the IHA. If you would like to produce an episode of Talk of the Town, you can talk to Mr. Bush in room C244 or send him an email. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you soon.